Hello and welcome back to TF1C. We're continuing on with the British Grand Prix previews. We've done W Series, we've done Formula E. They're on the channel already, make sure to go check those out. Now we're on to Formula 2. We've got all the feeder series here, as well as obviously the main event, the Formula 1. There's a lot going on at the British Grand Prix this weekend. We're previewing all of it, and now it's Formula 2. Before we get into any kind of predictions, we've actually got a kind of serious topic to discuss. Well, very serious topic to discuss. Hi-Tech, just before we've started recording this, have announced that Yuri Vips will take part in the British Grand Prix and actually will be with Hi-Tech for the rest of the season. Now, of course, this has caused a lot of controversy. If you don't know what Yuri Vips said, obviously, not going to repeat it. Bye, we're off.
Yeah.
We've been cancelled as well. But yeah, I mean, if you don't know, I'm surprised you're living under a rock. It's caused a lot of backlash. And that's him and Nelson Piquet this week using racist language and in such public domains. It is absolutely ridiculous.
And I think it still says how far we've still got to go.
Yeah. Like, people go, why are we like kneeling? Why is this whole end racism campaign going on? Why is We Racist One? All that kind of stuff. And then this week has been the greatest example of why we need to keep pushing for equality.
And I mean, I'm very surprised at Hi-Tech's decision. I mean,
even Formula 2 are.
Yeah. I mean, I've literally got the statement up here. Formula 2 have said that Hi-Tech Grand Prix's decision today is surprising and not one we would have taken. So not even Formula 2 want him in the sport.
I'll be honest, as much as it's like he shouldn't be there, Hi-Tech should have dropped him, I'm not surprised by Hi-Tech's decision. They had Nikita Mazepin in their seat. They've been sponsored by Uralkali. Hi-Tech are not fazed by people who are...
No, not at all.
I don't really know how to put it, but you know what I mean. But yeah, it's just... Do you think he should be in the seat?
I don't, and yes, the second chances, yes.
I agree everyone deserves a second chance.
But I don't see in this instant, especially, everyone's trying so hard to kick racism out of sport and kick it out of society.
Yeah.
Doesn't help with things like this. And an apology? I guess an apology that doesn't really fix anything.
No, I don't think any apology redeems himself at all.
All that's happened, he's gone, I'm sorry, and Hi-Tech have gone, oh, that's all right then. And I just don't think that's right at all.
From a Hi-Tech standpoint, it would be very hard to replace a driver of his calibre. He's still a very good driver. You cannot take that away from him. He is still a very good driver. And for Hi-Tech, it would be very hard to find a short-term replacement. But I can't really understand why they wouldn't just... I mean, Jack Aitken, he'd surely be up for it.
You think Boschung missed a few weekends and they replaced him easily?
No, they didn't. That's the thing. Campbell's just had an empty seat.
Yeah.
Hi-Tech could easily do that.
They should.
Tell some of their mechanics to have the weekend off, or let Jack Aitken have a weekend at his home Grand Prix. I'm very I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm stunned by the decision, but I'm so confused as to why Hi-Tech deem it appropriate that he competes this weekend.
I agree with Formula 2, and I also agree with Red Bull. I mean, he's now got similar to Dan Ticktum when he.
It's just many things.
Yeah.
Dan went.
I don't even remember what he said.
For Williams.
Oh,
he was in the Red Bull Academy. He piled into the side someone because he wasn't happy about his decision. Then he got a 2-year ban from racing, or 1-year ban from racing, something like that. Dropped by Red Bull as well. Then Williams signed him.
Yeah.
And then he went on stream and sung something like
Latifi's shit, basically.
Yeah. Ippy-dippy-doo, Latifi is poo. And then they dropped him from Williams, and that was his career over. And it's another driver now, Yuri Vips, that's thrown away his career, like Mazepin, because Mazepin was never fast, but he was okay. He was never a good driver, really, but he was,
and it was only going
a
to
decent
be
driver. He could have made it in DTM or something.
Money that was going to take
him. Vips, on the other hand, an incredibly good driver, showing so much promise this year. Very inconsistent, but a very good driver.
It's a stupid.
But his acts are inexcusable. He should not be in Formula 2. But
not a chance. And I'm glad that Red Bull have
condemned it.
Yeah, they've released him from their academy and their junior driver program, so he hasn't got a future in Formula 1 anymore. And it's just
I don't see a way back for him.
Inexcusable what he's done, and it's another really good young driver that's thrown their career away.
Yeah,
because no one's going to take him, and rightly so. So he will be featuring this weekend.
I don't think he'll be in the right headspace to compete.
No.
Because I think if he was to be on the podium, the abuse he would receive, not saying
horrific.
it's right or wrong or whatever about it, but he would be booed by every single Briton in that.
I mean, I'm surprised because if F2 didn't want him,
Everyone, not only the British.
Surely F2 would just say, "Well, you're not allowed to race," because the FIA have that power.
It's a very fine line they tread.
Yeah.
Because it's not as cut and dry as you've made an error.
Yeah.
It's not, you can't just go, he's done something bad in racing, he's done this, he's done that. It is it's a grey line they're treading at the moment. Indeed, yeah.
Track. Because as you said earlier with Tickdom, he piled into the side of someone, that's an easy ban.
Yeah, it's obvious what you got to do.
Yeah.
But with this, it's not the FIA's place. It's not a racing thing that High Tech should be, suspending him for. It's not a racing thing that he's been dropped by Red Bull for. It's hard for the FIA to say what's allowed, what isn't. It's that whole free speech line. Everyone should be able to say what they want, but then you are going to have people that say what they want. It's hard for FIA to step in and stop him, but High Tech should be getting rid of him, in my opinion.
Definitely.
They've not, though. He will be competing. That is all.
Shall we get into the weekend?
Let's get into the racing.
about
Sorry
what
to
we're
start on
actually
a
here for.
somber note.
Yeah.
But
let's get into some good racing.
Let's get excited for
hopefully.
Formula 2 now.
Alright. F2 quali. P5, I have Frederick Vesti, Merck Academy driver. Had a very good week.
Yeah.
Had a great weekend
Strong
in
form.
Baku, and I think he's going to build on that.
I agree. So who have you got in P4?
Oh yeah, P4. I have Théo Pourchaire, the other
Mate,
AI.
you've definitely
AR2.
just copied
What?
my list here. P4, Théo Pourchaire.
Obviously he struggled at Silverstone last year, but in the championship fight, he's going to need to try and
Yeah, I was going to say he needs some points.
Points as possible, and I don't have Fleetwood Drogovic in my top 5, so this will be a huge quali session for Pourchaire.
P3.
You've also got him to P3. I have Dennis Hauser.
Finally, I'll be allowed to talk now.
I'm just expecting a good lap, a really good lap from the Norwegian driver. Obviously, he won the sprint in Monaco. He's shown some great pace and some great form this season.
I was about to say he won it last year in F3, but I think there was only one race he didn't win last year in F3, so that's kind of obvious.
As we've seen with the Feed Series, if you can get that one clean lap in, that is huge, and I think you should go do that.
I think that's going to affect pole, but onto that shortly. P3, I have Jan Daruvala. I think, obviously, Gasly now pinned to a long-term deal with not a long-term, but he's got another season with AlphaTauri. Yuki doesn't seem to be shifting. Daruvala's future is kind of blocked. It's between him and Lawson now, of course. Yeah. So, I think Gasly will leave at the end of next season for probably McLaren. So that does then open up a seat. Daruvala and Lawson. This is Daruvala's 3rd season already of Formula 2. Next season will be his 4th. This is Lawson's 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and next season will be his 3rd. I do think that says a lot considering where they currently are in the championship and stuff. But yeah, Daruvala P3. He's going some way to get up, get involved, get some points. I think he has to win the championship this year if he's ever going to make Formula 1.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
definitely.
Which I don't see him doing.
Okay, you spoke a lot about Lawson and Daruvala in there, and I have the 2 Red Bull Juniors sharing the front row together. I have Daruvala in P2 and Liam Lawson taking pole at Silverstone, making it a Red Bull 1, 2, 3 on my grid.
Fair enough. My front 2 are 2 drivers who have shown themselves to be incredibly talented this season, but never really finished in the points paying positions all that often. Like, not really scored high anyway. P2, I have Jack Doohan, for obvious reasons. He's the GOAT. And then P1, I have Richard Verschoor. Very out of left field, this shout, but he's shown he has the pace, especially over one lap. And I think the Trident driver is going to take a very deserved pole position.
Remember, he won the sprint here last year.
He did. So, he's already won a sprint this season. I think this is Verschoor's time for pole.
Okay. Into the sprint then, that we just mentioned. And in P5, I have the Van Amersfoort driver, Jake Hughes. He's had decent season this year, featured on front rows and in the top points quite frequently, and another top 5 for the British driver.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
My P5 is Théo Pourchaire. Dropping back, well, actually going forward, sorry, in the race. P4 in quali, reverse that around, it's P7, up to P5. Good race from the young Frenchman. He needs points for the championship push to try and catch up to Felipe Drugovich.
P4, I have Dennis Hauser. I said when I was talking about him in quali a minute ago, he's shown the pace this season, and I think he's got a very quick weekend. So he'll start P3 for the feature, obviously for the sprint. When the top 10 gets reversed, he'll be down in P8, but I think a stellar drive up into P4.
Yeah, fair enough. My P4 is Marcus Armstrong, the high-tech driver.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll just have a decent weekend. He's going to have to deal with a lot of backlash as well, obviously being attached to the high-tech team. But I think he'll be able to channel that somewhat into a good performance here, or a fine performance here, but not on the podium. P4, decent points.
Okay, into the podium then on the sprint, and P3, I have Logan Sargent. Obviously, now ahead of his Carlin teammate Liam Lawson, and has had a very good rookie season, picked up 2 podiums, some very decent results.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to pick up another one here.
Yes, P3, right? Well, I have Felipe Drugovich. The man is inevitable. He's going to score a podium every weekend at this rate, and without him qualifying in the top 5, that'll put him around P8, I think. Mm-hmm. He'll be pipped by, actually, Hugh, 9th and 10th on the grid. But, yeah, P8, and then reverse that, P3, he'll convert that to a podium.
I also believe that Drugovich will feature on the most podiums this season. I think he's going to be P2 here in the British sprint. Just missing out to one Australian man.
Oh, come on.
Yep, I have
Jackie Doohan
to
come on.
win the Silverstone
Absolute
sprint.
scenes.
And just I'm expecting a great battle between Doohan and Drugovich. And Doohan's going to hold on, I think.
Yeah. Well, you've got a driver from Australia taking the win. If you take a little drive, and probably bits of water as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Over to New Zealand, you'll find the hometown of my sprint race winner, Liam Lawson. He needs some points, Liam Lawson. He's shown, though, that quality's not his strong point this season, at least. And I think he will take around the P10, P9, that kind of position. He'll win, and he'll beat Dennis Hauser to the line as he takes P2. Not a winner with a chicken dinner this time, Dennis, but still a very strong second place and 9 points for the championship charge. On to the race.
Yes, race. P5, I have Felipe Drugovich making up a few positions from P9 on the grid. But losing out massively to his championship rivals.
Indeed, P5, I have Iwimo Iwasa. I'd say he's the driver I've been most impressed with this year, Iwasa.
Definitely.
I haven't really heard of him before this season. He's come in and been quality, in my opinion. Absolutely quality.
Last year.
Yeah, but didn't really make a massive name for himself.
No,
outshone by the talents of Doohan and Hauser, of course. Yeah. Hauser was the main focus of
even his team, obviously Jack Crawford.
He waltzed it. Yes.
So he wasn't even the top dog.
But Iwasa got the jump up. Crawford did not, because Iwasa is actually a good driver. And he's going to show here why he is so good, and he's going to take 10 points.
Decent result, especially in front of Red Bull. They'll be very happy with that.
Yep, P4, who've you got?
And speaking of impressing in front of Red Bull, I have Dennis Hauser. As I said, P3 in quali, P4 in the sprint, and P4 in the race. Is a very, very good weekend for the Norwegian driver.
Interestingly, I've also got a very consistent weekend for my P4. It's Théo Pourchaire. P4 in quali, P5 in sprint, P4 in the feature. Very, very strong for Pourchaire. A very nice points all for him.
Yeah.
And with Drugovich not in that top 5 in the race, at least, I think Pourchaire will be very, very pleased.
P3 then, taking the first podium spot of the F2 race, feature race, is Jehan Daruvala, dropping back off from the front row, holding on to the podium, defending his teammate for the P3. Again, a decent weekend for Daruvala and gaining on Drugovich.
And then winning. who've you got to win the Formula 2 feature race here in, around Silverstone?
I have, it's not my pole sitter, Liam Lawson, he's in P2, and instead my feature race winner is Teo Pourchaire from the second row of the grid, makes some few overtakes and gain huge points on Felipe Drugovich in what is going to be a great weekend for the young Frenchman.
Yes, onto my podium then. Jack Doohan took P2 in quali, taking P3 in the race though. Pole sitter, Richard Verschoor, is P2, and that's because I think Jehan Daruvala, inspired by the fact that he is probably the favourite other than Liam Lawson competing in those two for a Red Bull seat in the future. I think he's going to channel all that pressure as one of the only Red Bull rookies left at this point. And I think he's going to channel it and he's going to get the win here. I just don't think Verschoor and Doohan will really have enough to fight him. And then I think those two will just fight for P2. While Pourchaire chills in P4, he's not going to really want to get involved in too much Pourchaire. I think he'll just be like, I'm taking these 12 points all the way to the bank. And then Iwasa, not really going to pressure the rest. So, I think Verschoor P2, Doohan P3. Lovely podium for the Australian.
Yeah.
That's a great accent, by the way. If anyone says otherwise, you're all wrong.
Hopefully we see a good weekend of racing.
Indeed, I really hope so. Yeah, Formula 2 last time out in Baku. Quick little look at the championship then. It's no surprise to see who's on top. It's Felipe Drugovich. And 49 points behind him, which is an insane lead already. Pourchaire, Daruvala, P3. I think I need to do some quick addition here. He might... No. Yeah? No, he won't pass Pourchaire yet. But it'll be close.
Got Pourchaire closing the gap right up to Drugovich.
I have Pourchaire closing up. I have Daruvala, though, closing up to Pourchaire. So, starts to condense at the top.
And I have Liam Lawson gaining a few as well.
I don't have Sargent or... Sargent getting nothing. Hauser getting some good points. So, he'll go above him. But, yeah. That is all for today. F1 preview. The final of the British Grand Prix weekend previews will be out sometime after this. So make sure to hit the notification bell for that. But you have to subscribe to hit the notification bell. So you'll have to do that as well. We'd appreciate it massively. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. And make sure to get down in that comment section down below. Have a little type. Tell us your predictions for this race. Whether you think High-Tech's decision to keep Yuri Vips is appropriate, which it's not.
As I say, if anyone says it is, I want to know your reason.
Yeah, leave a like, all that good stuff massively helps us out. But yes, thank you all very much for watching. See you next time.
See ya.